And there we go. Lotro has decided it's going to actually let me log in and play today. Madness. Do feel really bad for the people at Standing Stone who over the holiday weekend had to deal with a data center power related shit show. So I'm glad we got stuff back up and running. And let's see what I've got to do today. So I need to get some more delvings knocked out. Let me see if I have a wrapper that's come up or not. I don't think the delving wrappers have reset. No, Delve into Darkness still has a couple days left on it, but should have the Tam for Embers.
And the winds fair.
So there is 1,000 more embers, which means I need to...
Free city at last.
Or 500 more embers, sorry, which means I am coming really close to needing to spend some embers before I cap them. So I can pretty much finish one more wrapper, and then I have to go hit one of the ember traders before I do anything else. So I'm going to knock out just some of the easy ones here. Do Beast of Belphilus at 7. Do I even have all of my actual gear? Okay, I've got close enough. I don't have any missing pieces, so I'm doing better than my captain is at the moment. I logged my captain in and while I was at lunch and realized that all of my normal heavy armor gear was someplace else. Obviously it was on the champion, and I was too lazy to swap characters and actually move the gear back around to the correct place. So I basically just have the captain currently equipped in a set of the random other pieces, like the not good enough to be the regular gear pieces anymore type stuff, with a few exceptions, like all the outgoing healing rating and stuff like that for heavy armor obviously belongs on the captain, but she is very much wearing a mishmash of the cast-offs and leftovers. Have the sneaking suspicion there's not going to be much in the way of people running group stuff tonight, especially the good things, because with the servers coming back up, I think people are trying to finish up any of the Springfest quests that they still need to finish, as well as the April Fool's event is back for anybody who didn't already have the Fool title. And I believe it is for today. Oh, I totally missed that interrupt. I believe that is for today only that they brought it back. I have the Fool title on pretty much all of the characters that I wanted on. So I don't need to go in and do like chicken run or anything like that on my characters, because I logged on when they brought it back last year or the year before. I think it was last year that they brought it back. And I don't really have any new regular characters since then, so I'm pretty much okay with just the stuff I've got. But I know that a lot of people are also logging on and getting that title for characters. So there's just kind of a lot of people doing other things other than running dungeons tonight is going to be my guess.
Do you have need of something?
So I'll knock some of these out and then see if anything comes up. Really would like it if Tab Target just more consistently tried to give me the thing right in front of me that was actually actively hitting me, but you know, Tab is Tab. What's up, Ron? How is it going? Haven't even looked yet to see who's online. I've pretty much just hopped in and started working on finishing up my kind of partly in progress weeklies, because the reset on several of these is Thursday, so I want to make sure that I get all of my weekly stuff done today and tomorrow, so that I have Wednesday for cleanup. Yeah, that was a bummer of an outage, and it also, having been the one who, when there was a massive failure in, you know, a data center and a server environment, and having to go in and just like play the game of, okay, what equipment is fried? What did it take out with it? What do we need to string back up to get things back online? And okay, go pull this cable to see if it's bad. Go pull this cable. No, you can't plug these things in this order because everything breaks unless you do it this first, then this first, then this first. You can't do them the other way around. Like, it sucks, and it's even worse for the Standing Stone people, because you know that there's not a lot of them on the team, and it happened over the holiday weekend when you know that a lot of them had other things they would have rather been doing. So I feel really bad, doubly so because you know that they were taking a lot of shit from a lot of people for the outage, and it's like, dude, something happened, and they're on a holiday weekend trying to get things back up and running for you guys. Can you maybe be cool about it? But people will be people. Let's see, I've got 4 more of these trees, and then the big one will spawn. The question is, how many are going to be in this cluster up here? Is it going to be all 3 of the remaining trees all clumped together? Because that is often how this one goes. And yep, it is all 3 of the remaining ones. Thankfully, though, today's malices are really light on the AoE, like, you know, ground-based puddles like that. They're each pretty much just dropping the 1. So the big concentration of like that is not an immediate melee killer. Alright, get to this big tree real quick. Then I'll check and see where that leaves me on my wrappers. LFF is still all pretty quiet aside from people talking about holiday event stuff, so I think I might be guessing right that there's just not going to be dungeoning happening tonight. Okay, so let's see. This is going to be 12 of 15 on the any tier delving and the mission completion.
What news has come in with the day? May you spare a moment?
And let's see, did I get anything good? Oh, box crafting materials, so that's going to be some Umbari iron. Not going to complain about that.
There is much to be done, and fewer hands by which to do it.
At some point in time, what I'm going to have to do is basically go through my storage alts and find all the places where I have all of the old level 140 delving armor, now that we have the level 150 stuff. Because I was saving all of that because I knew that it would be good to stash and melt down. Oh, I did see something about about an anniversary event. Is that like a login for 10 days during the month type of thing, or is it something that's running just for 10 days? I didn't look into it yet, but I did mean to look into that further. Well, I am stacking up the bleeds and dots. I'm going to have to sit here for a little bit and just let those wear off. Okay, so it's probably in the kind of like tiered, you know, daily login things, I'm guessing. I will have to check that out and see what it is to make sure that if I need to do anything specific, I get the things. Oops. These guys noticed me before I really wanted to engage them, so I might actually be in a bad spot here, because I did not have any health. Yep, little rough. I might just let that bleed kill me. I don't have any buffs I need to worry about. This is why when you got a bunch of bleeds and debuffs stacked on top of you, you should be a little bit more careful when you walk up close to the next pack of crabs, because they'll just keep stacking new bleeds on top of your old bleeds. Nice. Make a character, get the daily reward, log out. Just keep stacking them up until you're ready to actually like play properly. I mean, it makes sense, and it's going to get you all the stuff. Now there are also periodic Twitch drops. Most of the time it's just stuff like the Ouroboros crates. Those usually just have like some consumables and fluff in them, but you can get things like rare mounts and pets out of them every once in a while. A lot of the time there will be like a Twitch drop campaign running to, you know, watch an ESO streamer for X amount of time to get those drops with a linked Twitch and Elder Scrolls account. And there are a lot of really great people, a lot of great streamers in the ESO directory. So it's always, I always like going in there and just, if nothing else, lurking or saying hi to folks I haven't seen in a while. So whenever there's drops, it's always a good thing. May have underestimated the damage that the bleeds plus explosive decompression are going to stack up doing if I don't actually cleanse them and give myself some time between pulls. But that'll happen. Yeah, that explosive decompression there is just nasty when that pops. Alright, Crab Mother, and then we are done. First you knock back. This time I'm actually going to be paying attention and do my interrupt on time. Aha. Completely overshot the quest giver. So you made a warden. What type of warden did you make? Is it a character you're actually going to be playing, or is it kind of a placeholder character? I'm always curious to see what people make, because I have definite, I have opinions about the different factions in ESO.
There is much to be done, and fewer hands by which to do it. Might you spare a moment?
The different alliances and races and political stuff in them. Did I not get a cookie? I didn't get a cookie for that one. I'm hurt. Okay, so that gives me 2 left that I need to run. Now I'll do cut above.
Might you spare a moment?
Breton Warden. Okay, so Breton is blue, so yeah, that's Daggerfall Covenant, right? That's what I thought, yeah. So it's not the worst choice in the world. At least you're not Aldmeri Dominion. Come back over here with me, guys. There we go. Come in, do the stun. Yeah, Daggerfall seems to be the one where, and I know it sounds silly, but Daggerfall seems to be the faction that tends to house people who just, a lot of people who don't have strong opinions one way or the other seem to gravitate towards playing blueberries. Whereas Dominion and Pact a lot of us have very strong opinions about the other factions. For better or for worse. I'm guessing you saw the staff skill bonus is what you mean by the race stat? Come back here with me, away from your friends. Nope, come back further. Come here, Archer. Good Archer. Oh, the light armor and magic. Okay, yeah, good. There are a few different stats that could have been what you were talking about, so I was curious. Yes, Bretons are still, and again, it's been a while since I've been really like properly plugged into ESO, so I'm not sure how much things have totally changed as far as the various racials and how things, you know, play out as far as the bonuses go. But Bretons have historically always been just kind of good all-around Magicka race choices. So, solid. What I was curious about was I know that a lot of the races have things like it'll read as you get a % bonus to gaining skill in a weapon stat. I think Bretons might be staffs, I'm not sure. That is a total trap bonus to never actually consider when you're making your character, because that particular stat that each race gives just means that you level the weapon skill up in that particular weapon faster, which means that it is a limited time bonus functionally, and not something that you really need to worry about. But yeah, the Breton's stats as a just general purpose caster are still solid. I have at least one Breton Magplar. My main damage Magplar is a Breton. I also have the thing that, and basically have had since like pre-order, I got the thing that lets me make any race, any alliance, so I don't have to do the alliance that my character's race is inherently tied to, so I can put any character I make into any alliance. But that's really one of those things that primarily just matters to nerds. Okay, so that is most of these. I'm gonna bounce to Andrath real quick because I think Nettenglade is one of today's missions out there, which means that that's a nice quick delving. Yep, there we go.
Could I speak with you a moment?
Take a quick peek in LFF, and LFF is still absolutely dead. Which again, festival season, no big shock. Yeah, and ESO, with the staff being the caster primary weapon, does have some really cool staff weapon skill lines. You know, the various like wall of element morphs and things like that. The abilities you get from leveling and working with the staff skill actually are usually pretty key to a damage dealing rotation. Wall of Elements and its two morphs in particular are, I think, probably even still in most people's loadouts. So that is 4 cocoons down, and all of them have been victims, no half-orcs, which makes me think I'm going to get mostly half-orcs in the last half. Oh, that's a victim also, so I only have 3 more potential half-orcs. I did put this on 7, right? Yep, okay, 7. For some reason, it's just seeming like they've given me really easy ones so far, which makes me worry that it's going to screw me at the end. Six of 8 victims, so these last 2 almost have to be half-orcs, otherwise RNG is really weird today. Uh, 7 of 8 victims. Okay, can I run the table on all victims? I mean, it'd be a bit weird, but okay. Let's find out. 1 more cocoon left. Are you a victim or a half-orc? Okay. I knew one of them at least had to have a baddie trapped in it, but still. 7 of 8 being victims is not a bad run.
What can I do for you? How can I be of service?
Okay, so that gives me 2 wrappers to turn in. Delve Deeper isn't going to give me embers, but it's going to give me writs, so I need to double check my stash here and just make sure. Okay, still only 3,200, so I can turn this one in and not worry about being close. And let's see. We'll do crafting materials. It's always nice when you're able to like join a game late, you know, that's been running for a long time. Log in, create your character, and get your name. doesn't happen all that often, so congrats on that one. Ooh, and awesome. So one of the things I got was a Tracery token legendary out of that delving box. And for me, you basically have 2 chances for what you can get that are similar to these. You can get either a sealed Tracery, which is a random legendary Tracery, or a Tracery token, which is just the extra currency piece you need to buy a Tracery. You still need a bunch of ancient script plus the token to buy a legendary Tracery, but as long as you got a good source of script, you actually get to buy a Tracery you know you'll use rather than RNG probably giving you something like a legendary parry rating Tracery. So out of the 2 options, that is by far the one I am much happier to get there. So not a bad run through there. Didn't get any gear drops, but I probably wouldn't be using any of them anyway. So let's see, I need to do 3 more of the Umbar instances, so I'm just going to clear those out now so that I have them done for the week on this character. What I'm going to try doing, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work out or not, is I'm going to go into the into the arena, setting it to the 2-person size instead of the solo version. So it should give me more enemies and slightly stronger enemies. Because I'm doing basically a run that's tuned for having 2 people in here rather than 1. Which means I am actually going to get my buffs going.
Keeper of the Tor Garden, and loyal servant to the people of Umbar. On this auspicious occasion, you have the honor to test your strength, meet justice upon the condemned, and earn the adulation of our people.
Okay. Start this guy out, eat my food. See if I can, nope, snack interrupted. I always like to kind of make that into a little mini race, just to see if I can get a snack down before he actually makes it back and combat starts, so I get interrupted. And usually what that means is I don't have my snack, which is my trail food and fortifying food, until the end of the next round. But that's not bad because that was just the one to refresh, because it's still actually rolling from what I ate before. I'll go ahead and refresh that now. Oops, wrong one. This one. Alright, so that was not bad at all on the duo version. Let's see. Alright, so we've got the Guardian to start with. And he pretty much got mollywopped. I'm actually suspecting, now that I think about it, that because the arena is is one where it's 1, 2, and 6, I don't think that the 1 and 2 are actually different. I think that might just be in Streets and Isle. I think that solo and duo is more or less combined in here. They just give these guys a little bit more morale. Because they really only have 100k on these like kind of normal mook ads here. So I'm starting to suspect that it's not really much of a difference setting this to 1 or 2. Because I notice I'm also only getting 2 of them at a time. Whereas if you do this in a full group, you get, I think, was it 4 of them at a time? I was kind of hoping that this would give me maybe 3 of them at a time to split the difference a little. So I got these 2, which is not bad. Just means that I might need to... Oh, nope, I killed him before he could get his gamble off on me. The little guy likes to drop a bleed to start, and it can be kind of a pain if it's still ticking when Rothog comes out. The will is your primary stat on the Lore Master. Oop, I just stood the cleave there. Let me open this chest and show you something. So when you're looking at your character sheet, so you know when you hit C, it brings up your character sheet. You got all your various bits and bobs and stats and gear. Most of these things on the right-hand side will give you more information if you hover over them. So, for example, as the champion, when I mouse over Might, the tooltip it brings up tells me basically what each point is giving me. and it'll specifically say, like, for example, mine says as a champion might increases your blah blah blah. So you can see, like, I'm getting high increases to my core stats of physical mastery, outgoing healing, critical mitigation, etc. And if I look at will on my champ, for example, I can see, oh, will isn't giving me very much. I've got 1400 will, and almost all of these things are only contributing like on a one-to-one basis. Whereas if I look at, might, I can see like, oh, this is giving me a bunch of stuff I actually legitimately am using. I've got 34,000 might that's giving me like 3 points of physical mastery per. So when you mouse over the different stats for each class, you'll kind of see it's giving me this much of each of the stats for per point that I get. Yep, every class is going to have a different formula here for what they get out of each stat to an extent. So they've made it a little bit less one stat. Previous to late last year when they did a kind of an overhaul, each armor weight basically was almost entirely tied to one stat, and vitality is kind of a second stat. They've spread it out a little bit more so that like a heavy armor class like I am here gets more out of my extra stats than we did before. But in general, you're not going to go wrong if you're a heavy armor class and you are gearing for might, if you're a medium armor class and you're gearing for agility, or if you're a light armor class and you're gearing for will as your primary stat. Those are always going to be solid bread and butter choices if you have something, if you have your choice of various stats. As a light armor, you want will. Yeah, the various contributions are going to be different class to class, but they'll be relatively consistent for the armor types. And yeah, at low levels, just go for whatever kind of works the best for you right now, because you're going to be replacing it not too long anyway. A lot of times when, and I am 100% guilty of this, is that I'll talk about things in a very much like late game type, high level, formulas and strategies, and okay, you want this mitigation, you want to have this much of that kind of thing, without always stopping to do the caveat that in general, when somebody is going that in depth into you need these particular stats, it's really more you need these stats when you're at or near the level cap and are starting to have gear or have choices you make that are going to be lasting for a little while, and you're looking to, bump up your performance. While you're leveling, really you're just looking to avoid egregious mistakes that, like, oh, I could have had this great piece of gear, for my, I could have had this great, piece of gear for my quest reward for my lore master that had a bunch of will on it, and it had some tactical crit, and for some reason I chose the quest reward that gave me might and critical defense. Whoops. But even so, at the lower levels, wait, the wind will blow, you'll get a new piece of gear, and things will be fine. All right, so I'm going to see if, and I haven't done this since these were basically first introduced, I'm going to try Isle of Storms on the 2-person and just see how bad the Croc Boss is now. It might still be an absolute slaughter, but hey, we'll find out. Let's see what morale he has. Okay, so yeah, he's got 2.25 million morale. Septic Cloud is out. I still have Septic Wound on, unfortunately. Ha, got it off. Okay, yeah, that is some nasty bleeds. And I've already used my pots. It seriously failed to pot both of those off. That is a bunch of horse crap. All right. So over 2 million morale is still more than I want to sit there and chew through, especially if it's going to be cheesy and have my wound and my disease pots not actually remove the wound and disease. So screw that nonsense. We'll do this one on the solo version. Because yeah, 670k versus 2.3 million. Like, that is just still a silly jump. It's just really intended on the two-person version for you to have somebody else to absorb some of these debuffs. Oh well. That's where I get really envious of the Runekeeper's self-cleanse. But of course, there is absolutely no way that a Runekeeper could sit there and tank that guy like I can. So, swings and roundabouts. Yeah, there's still not, there's literally not even chatter in LFF chat right now. So, that is likely the combo of it being Monday evening, people being, making up for lost time with the weekend outage, and people running in and doing the today only Fool event, which, by the way, if you want a very rare title on any of your characters in Lotro, today is one of your only chances to get it. because they only run the event on the occasional April Fool's Day. This will be only the third year, I think, ever that the title was available. Which is another reason why a lot of people are not doing dungeons or anything else today. They're all doing the chicken event. But if you want the title The Fool, today is the day to get it, pretty literally. I'm pretty sure I actually have it on Illogical. Title search. Fool. Yep. Fool. So I could be not a logical fool if I wanted to. Yeah, trash mobs in here definitely do die quicker after the patch. Which isn't a bad thing, because they were kind of a slog on the group versions, but it does make the solo one, aside from the croc boss, just ridiculously easy. They just kind of left the croc boss overtuned, and everything else is kind of silly. No luck on loot yet. Ah well. At least I'm getting runes. Just heading straight in for the Chaotic Wind, because this is always the one you want to kill first in here. Yeah, what it does is it drops you into one of a handful of random places out in the moors, the Etten Moors, which is the PvP zone. And sometimes you can get absolutely just hammered by RNG. Like, you have the potential to spawn in a warg pit, and that's just like, well, I'll come back and try next time. But the goal of that is to basically make it to the main encampment, the safe spot, which, if I remember right in the moors, is the northwest of the map. But if you make it to the main, like the main Free People's City there, then you win and you get the title The Fool. And it is a very rare title overall, because up until last year, it had only been available for like 1 year for people during the April Fool's event. So it is distinctly less rare than it was previously, because last year we had it for, I think, a couple of days it was available. but it is still comparatively rare because of just, you know, there have been a very small number of days in the lifespan of the game that you could get the title in. So it's a good thing to at least do once, but it absolutely can take a few times of being a chicken out in the moors and dodging everything, because you will get one shot. You have to be careful and dodge, dash, dip, be cunning, etc., etc. I had some times last year where it was just so frustrating, because you also, while you're out there in the moors, the creeps can attack you as well. So if anybody's on the moor playing creeps, they can get chicken players as well. We're valid targets for them. We'll go around this pillar here. Alright, come with me, give me a bit of room to work. Good birdie. Okay, so there's Isle of Storms. So Isle of Storms is still just a royal pain if you do it on the 2-person. I'm willing to bet it's seriously just the croc boss. Like, I bet if I could get somebody else to just kill the croc boss with me, I could probably then happily solo the rest of the instance, but that's kind of weird. So in lieu of that, we'll see how Streets on 2-man is looking.
From the apothecaries of Khan Doom to Langstrand, all the way to Umbar, Indagir, now known as Kashyap, has been transporting a draft of the vilest make.
Yeah, and there's variability, because the different spawn points that you have the potential of spawning in at, some of them are much further away than others, although some of the far away ones are also further away from mobs, so give and take there.
Welcome to Umbar.
Let's see, these guys all have 268k, 268. This should be a lot more fun. Here we go. Curious what it's going to give me when I get into the larger packs. Or it's going to knock me down because the game's going to be a jerk. Seriously. And this is, of course, also where sustain does become a bit of an issue. If I don't proc any of my strike heals, I really just have my killing spree heals.
Your persistence is aggravating.
Because ultimately, I really would like as much as possible to save things like my bracing attacks for when I actually need that cooldown available, as opposed to just them being my bread and butter healing. Yeah, the moors is a nasty, nasty place. Beware the moors. So you got a sniper and a lookout. So lookout, you are going to die first. Okay, Trapper and Bruiser. I don't think the duo version has the ability for these guys to worm you. I'm not 100% on that.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Knockout right before Ferocious Strikes hit. That was a jerk move, game. I see what you did there. Still stuck in combat, so I'm just going to waste a potion. I've got a bunch of them. And I might actually need to just use bracing attack here. Yeah. Because again, the guys on the roof basically will stick you in combat because they'll still be targeted on you. So the ability to drop combat and get morale regen is kind of not a thing. Which is really obnoxious for a non-healing class. Oh, I got too close. Nope, they're just gonna eat me alive. That was 100% my mistake. I should have just led that guy around the corner. Oh no, that's the worst when you can see it right there ahead of you. You're just like, it's right there. I see the finish line. Oh, man, trust me, last year I had so many of those, like, the bushes right out in front of the goal, because there's the area where the guards patrol around town by the little road there, and then a little ways down there's those bushes, and wolves and spiders love those bushes. Ask me how I know. This time around, I'm going to pull these guys around the corner like I should have done last time. Man, RNG is not liking me today on my strike heals. Okay, come on, heal up. Stop hiding in the damn cart so I can attack you. Alright, that was better.
Get in the warmest Rahul Buck. Welcome.
sit here and let a couple of my cooldowns tick down just a little bit here. Knowing that the game apparently today is just determined to be a jerk, I'm going to bear that in mind. Where's my good pocket items on my captain? That's why. And I can't do that in combat, so... Damn, being stuck in combat. Ooh, nice. Seafarer's Flickering Essence box out of there, so always good loot to have. The yellow ring that again is just going to be melted for embers. Getting an Essence box, never a bad thing. I'm kind of fine with you getting off a mass heal when nobody else is alive and hurt. You go right ahead and use that. Okay, yes, they definitely can worm you. I really wish I could pot out of this. You can use a morale pot, but you can't use your cleanse pots or cleanse ability, which is just annoying. Hey, Chaos, yeah. First DLC, so like Mines of Moria era then? That's been a hot minute. Oh, not bad. So you got the you got your full title. Awesome, man. That is even still with the event being brought back. That's still a relatively rare title. So congrats, man. Yeah, the game has changed a lot since like the Shadows of Angmar, Mines of Moria. Wow, I'm totally blanking on the Mirkwood expansion, Siege of Mirkwood. Yeah, game has changed significantly since then. Let's see what I got. I got a Bruiser, Trapper, Sniper. I don't see a fourth. Yeah. I lost my original account for a long time, like my launch day account, due to some email issues with the account I was using at the time. And at the time, it was also Turbine's customer service back in the WB Turbine days. So unfortunately, I do not have a 16-year account, which I should have at the moment, coming up on a 17-year account. I think my account is now going to be a 15-year account this year because I had to get a start over one. So that's a bummer. It's definitely not nearly as much of a crawl to get through content as it was back in those days, but there's also 150 levels of content if you play through all the expansion stuff, so there's a lot to do if you're starting over. It's not a bad thing. It's you can play for free until basically the core content up through level 95 is now basically all included in the free content of the game. So it would be a while before you'd have to like put much of an investment if you wanted to start a new account and like hop in and play. So it's definitely, you know, it's definitely a not the worst thing in the world to, you know, to make a character, hop in and just kind of like see how things are. With the comparatively low barrier to entry. Oh, the unwise. Did you eat the brie cheese, Aran? You ate the brie cheese, didn't you? There's the fourth. Okay, it was a trapper. He was just hiding on the other side of the fountain. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't think they would give me this one as a 3-pull. Whoop. Let me just take care of this sniper here real quick, because he's going to sit there and be annoying. Then I'm going to swing around the corner here and see if I can get out of combat enough to regen some morale. Maybe? Come on, leave me alone. You don't want to follow me anymore. Sigh. So SWTOR, oh, I dropped combat. Yes, I get regen. Yeah, SWTOR, great single-player story. I go back and forth on the game engine itself. I really don't like the hero engine fork that they used for that game. I have mechanical issues with the engine and the way it does some things. I know it has a lot of good, like, single-player focused story and questing in it, but from everything from when I played the game before, when I was playing it regularly, as well as looking at going back and things like that, anything other than kind of treating it as a single-player BioWare RPG with occasional people around you is functionally dead, and it got moved to Broadsword. So it's kind of entered its maintenance mode sunsetting, which is a shame, because there was there's some good stuff in that game. Lotro is always kind of one of those games that it seems like whoever's running it, which is Standing Stone Games right now, is like one bad year away from Lotro disappearing, but it just keeps persisting and we keep getting more content for it, which is great in my opinion. But it is also a old, janky, cranky game, and you get everything that comes with it that accompanies that. Personally, it is my favorite MMO, but that is very much a grain of salt kind of thing. What do I got here? Trapper, you first. As far as MMOs that, if you're just looking for like, hey, I want to vacation in something to just have some fun, see if I like it, Lotro is always one that I will recommend if you're a fan of the franchise or the gameplay style, kind of like all of those things, because it's a lot of fun, it's got a great community, and again, your barrier to entry, your buy-in to start and just goof around to see if it's someplace you want to spend time is really low. It has, it is a free-to-play game with an optional sub and the ability to basically buy convenience in the cash shop. There is very much so. Standing Stone Games are the developers, where Daybreak is their publisher, and with Daybreak being the publisher comes the absolute stink of Daybreak Games in some of the monetization of it and what features are locked behind needing to have a sub or spend money. It's not as bad as it has been in previous years, but it is something to consider that it is a game where there can be a barrier to entry if you're looking for something that's totally free, but the base experience and what you can get in free is, there's a lot. No, I totally get that. I very much have the opinion that if it's a game that I enjoy and I feel is worth my time, it's also worth my money, and I happily keep up my sub to Lotro, I buy the expansions, all that kind of stuff. But for example, like my storage here, I have, and actually you can see it up in my top bar here because I run a Titan bar style add-in. All of my characters have 135 inventory slots. And that's because I am a sub, so I have 5 bag slots. I just have them all combined into one bag here, because I don't like having individual bags. And each of the bag slots starts at, I think, 15 or 20 slots, something like that, that you can basically buy up how many inventory slots you have by spending the store currency. Now you get currency with your sub. If you're a sub, you get currency by completing deeds or achievements in the game. So there are people who over the lifetime of playing Lotro in its free-to-play version have not put any money into the game and have functionally unlocked all of the stuff just by grinding out points. I hate that approach, but yes, this is very much an old school tab target game. It's not action combat. It's it's not a hybrid combat like some other games do. Like Guild Wars 2 has the kind of hybrid tab and action combat. This is a very old school game in that approach, and that is absolutely something that is going to be a deal breaker for some people. Totally get that. I like it, but then I like both gameplays. Oh, don't you get the heal off. Ha. I like both of those gameplay styles, but I know there are a lot of people... Yep. Some things you just get so used to typing, and if you start typing out ads, your brain automatically types it in as ads, like, ads in combat. What's up, Cass? How's it going, man? I'm just running through some of the Imbaris. LFF is basically dead tonight because everybody's catching up from the weekend downtime or doing chicken run stuff. Arlon just got his full title. Chicken Run is still today if you want to get in and do it. I know that the Kin was doing a chicken run, but you can still do the actual run itself out in the moors. Yeah, Arlon just got his full title a little bit ago. Only took him 3 tries too, which I have definitely had characters that took me longer than 3 tries. I don't remember what character it was last year. I think it was my Hobbit Guardian. that I swear it took me a dozen tries to get that run done because I just kept having the worst luck on either where I would spawn in or where the creeps were out that night too. And so it wasn't until a bunch of freeps came out and actually were running interference that we could safely make the run. Oh, nice, nice. Out in the outside world, the horrible outside world. Ugh. I don't like going out there. It is a strange and terrible place. At the moment, I'd kind of trade you for cold. It was in the 80s here today, and yeah, I could have done with another month or so of at least temperate weather. So you got the double whammy. Well, that's rough, man. I mean, at least they had fun, I'm guessing. I don't need to do that. I just need food. Okay. I am trying to remember how bad Cash App is or isn't on Duo.
Get with you from the beginning.
Let's see. 1.2 mil. So this should not be bad at all. This should basically be a stomping unless he pulls some serious shenanigans. All right, not bad. If you're looking for the Kin Discord, like all the chat channels and stuff, one of the officers might need to actually set you up with the correct role. Okay, I see you're in the server. Basically just in the Start Here channel, which I think is kind of all you can see by default. Just type a message, my character's name is, Arlon in the Kin, and one of the officers in Discord should be able to hook you up and get you all the permissions to see all the rest of the channels. Yeah, Jimmy or somebody else. Yeah, let me actually make sure. Oh, okay, I don't want to complete this yet. I need to hop out of here real quick. Bam. Okay. Before I complete that quest, I need to go, spend some embers so I don't lose them. Alright, classes. Alright, juggling windows. So, since the last time you would have been playing, there are a few new classes. That's the wiki link there to the class page with all the various things. If I log out here, I think I have a character slot left to go to character creation. but oh nope, apparently I don't. Yeah, so Warden would have been added. That would have been the new class then. So newer classes after Warden, there would have been the Beorning. Runekeeper would have been around when you were playing too, right? Because that, I believe, came out with Mines of Moria. Yeah, so... I've made a whole handful of random, not quite characters. So, this is the current class list here. So, Beorning is a class that can only be the Beorning race. They're a combined race and class. So, a Beorning race can only be a Beorning class and vice versa. The other classes, and if I just go to Race of Man, because they can be everything. Got your Burglar. Brawler is a newer class. I think they're still a purchase class. I don't think they're a base game class because they came out with the Gundabad expansion. Other new classes would be the Mariner. Mariner is the newest of the classes. They're a medium armor, kind of primarily melee skirmisher. You don't get embers from low-level rappers, Cass. You get the motes of enchantment, the green ones, and those are the ones where you can buy your sub 150 stuff from. So if you're doing the various wrappers, like the mission wrappers on your lower level characters, those will give you the motes of enchantment, the green currency, and those will let you buy similar gear boxes to your Embers gear, but it is it's basically like level capped at 149, and it's the same type of stuff. It's account bound, so they're good for your leveling characters, your alts and things like that. Yes, new races are the High Elf. And the High Elf can basically be any of the classes aside from Beorning. Stout Axe Dwarf came out in the Mordor expansion. They can be basically everything aside from Lore Masters. River Hobbit is the newest race. They're sort of slightly more elfy or human-looking hobbits. And again, they have a very broad class selection. They can functionally be everything but Beorning. And then again, the Beorning, which can be the Beorning. Some of these might be purchased. I know that the River Hobbit is a purchase race. I think High Elf is now base game. I'm not entirely certain. And the Stout Axe might as well. Because how it normally goes is the various races and classes start out as only being available with the expansion they come out in. Then later on, they will be individually purchasable with the store currency. And then later on, when more new races and classes have been introduced, they tend to be they tend to get added into the base game. Frankly, there aren't any classes that are truly in a bad spot now. So I am always, as the rest of the folks here in chat will happily attest, I am in no way, shape, or form unbiased. So take all of my opinion. Thank you for the reminder, Cass. That's actually something I was going to say. Is all of the new races, so High Elf, Stout Axe, River Hobbit, and Beorning, all have their own new intros compared to the old Dwarf, Elf, Hobbit, and Race of Man, like prologue and tutorial intros. All the new races have new funnels. But anyway, classes. I am in no way, shape, or form unbiased. I will always say that Champ is the best class in the game. This is a very, very subjective opinion and should in no way, shape, or form be taken as gospel. Although I am 100% correct in this, but but no, I really enjoy the champion. I like the heavily armored, heavy armor, carry a big sword, wreck shit approach. Like it is way more fun than I've ever had in a melee DPS class in another game. Captain, actually, because you were talking about the nerf, Captain is in a really good spot these days. Redline Captain, if you're looking for a build that would be more of a good like Equester and Soloer, is a ton of fun. Runekeeper. So of the various light armor classes, so the light armor classes are Runekeeper, Minstrel, and Loremaster. Those are the three classes that wear light armor and do tactical damage, i.e., fire, poison, lightning, stuff like that. Runekeeper is my favorite of them. I have a blast on my RK. They're a ton of fun. Captain has 3 really good builds right now. So the last time you were playing, there would have been the old trait system. So let me actually go back in, let me exit character creation, and let me hop on, for example, my captain. One of my captains. I have too many alts, don't judge me. The trait system has been totally reworked from when you would have been playing last. Yeah, Redline Captain is a ton of fun. So rather than the old trait system where you completed various deeds to unlock kind of specialties you could slide into to make your build, what there is now is there is a much more traditional talent tree style trait system. And so in this case, this is me in my Redline build on this captain. So, let me see. Quick screenshot so I remember what I actually had here. There we go, image captured real quick. But it's a basic Redline build. So, when you start out, you basically get the choice of picking where you want to primarily build from. So, all of the classes are going to have blue, red, and yellow trait lines. Not all classes have the ability to have some of these be their primary. Some classes have been broken down into you can have your primary be blue or red, and the yellow line has been morphed fully into a support line where you can just pick things from yellow to support your build, but there's no such thing as a primary yellow guardian anymore, for example. But Captain still has all 3. So you'll see people talking about, I'm a red captain or I am a yellow champion. This is what they're referring to here, because when you pick your primary choice here, it's going to give you all of these various these various specific unlocks at varying levels through your trait tree. So, for example, red line, you get the spell Shadow's Lament, or the attack Shadow's Lament, which only a red line captain gets, whereas a blue line captain gets Valiant Strike. So you're going to get some specific unique skills for each line, and then all of these here, like for example, when you get 5 points spent as a red captain, you get the Readied Blade inherent trait, which is just a 10% melee damage increase. When you get up to 10 points spent as a red captain, you get the cutting edge skill, which increases your cutting attack damage and crit. So this is kind of your first primary choice, is picking which of these is going to be your core spec. So I'm going to go, this is a red line spec. Abilities in your primary cost 1 point. Abilities outside cost 2. So let me pull up my cheat sheet here because I snapped my build before I reset it. And this is a solo red line build that I'm putting myself back into here. This would not be what I would use in a group, but it's what I use while I'm soloing. So basically, as you spend, so you'll see I'll put, there's not really an Icy Veins equivalent. As far as that, there'll be some sites that have builds or suggestions, but there's not nearly the same kind of theory crafting level of community with Lotro as there are in games like WoW or Guild Wars 2. There's not as many sites out there that are going to be putting, here's your cookie cutter build. Partly because there's just a lot of versatility. It's a lot harder to make a bad build here than it is in some other games. There are some sites that have some examples. I would be very wary of taking any site's examples or proclamations on this is good, this is bad as gospel rather than opinions, because for one, things change as balance patches come out, and for another, Lotro players are opinionated. Like, I will be out here, and yeah, there's a lot of old stuff out there too. Like, I will be out here all day saying Redline Champ is the way to go, it's a ton of fun, you should just play that. And there's going to be other people out there saying, you play a champ? What kind of drooling idiot are you? And frankly, both of us might be correct. But so you can basically see, as I'm spending points and getting more spent, it is unlocking these inherent passives on the left-hand side. Those are those items that you see when you're first picking your red line spec. You're now seeing them over on the left-hand side. So let's see. I want 4 out of 5 in my banner because I hate the ground target. And this. And over in yellow. So you'll see right now I got 52 points available, and all of these that I spent in red line only cost me 1 point, 1 trait point per. When I spend my first point in yellow, it's going to cost me 2 of my available points because I'm going outside my main tree. But as you get past a certain level, you're inevitably going to be going outside your primary tree. So every build in Lotro, at a certain point in time, you start poaching into your other talent trees, your other trait trees. Let's see. 1 of Terrifying Bellow because I love it when Routing Cry stuns. That is just so good as a captain. One, 2, 3. Where are my other points spent here? I clearly missed something. 1, 2, 3. I should have 1 more point spent someplace. Am I a complete idiot? 3, 3, 5, 1, 1. Oh. I missed that and that. There we go. So this is kind of just a general purpose red line soloing captain build. So server choice, unfortunately, it's not a game like ESO where you're on a mega server, or Final Fantasy XIV, or Guild Wars 2 where you have that kind, Guild Wars 2 is functionally mega server 2 at this point, or Final Fantasy XIV where you have World Visit. There's not a server to server move. So servers tend to have different benefits to them, just depending on the population that's generally there. Gladden, Crick Hollow, Brandywine are kind of lower pop servers. Gladden is kind of a catch-all server. I don't think they're really known for anything in particular. A lot of us here play on Landreval. That's the server that Arlon, McQuiggan, who also plays with us in chat here, and a handful of others, we play on Landreval. Landreval is known more for social gameplay and kind of the player base. In the old days, it was the unofficial RP server, and that's kind of kept up with just being a friendly, casual, community-oriented server. Arkenstone is the server that is more active in the endgame, like grouping and raiding and dungeoning scene. The two servers for US play that I would recommend playing on would be either Landreval or Arkenstone. I love Landreval just because it is like it's a fun server to be on. The catch to that is that it doesn't have as big of an end game scene, so you're not always going to, like, if you make it to 150, because you stick with the game and you're like, all right, cool, I'm gung ho. It can be a little harder to find people unless you're in a kin that does. A kin is a guild. Unless you're in a kin that specifically does, dungeon or raid nights, the just general random grouping scene isn't as big here as it is on Arkenstone. That said, I have to say it, we have less jerks than Arkenstone does. So you take the you take the trade-offs. But Arkenstone or Landreval would be my two recommendations, just depending on where you want to focus. But yeah, so unlike when you were playing previously, there's basically going to be a talent tree style trait spec. And so if you hear people talking about a red this or a yellow that, this is what they're talking about here. In general, red line is going to be every class's DPS spec, some more so than others. And the other specs are going to be either an alternate DPS, that class's tank build, that class's healing build, things like that. So for Runekeeper, red line is stationary, kind of turret style fire damage, where you have longer cast times for your spells, but they hit hard and tend to have a dot through your fire-based stuff. Yellow line is your very mobile, slightly shorter range, but almost entirely instant cast. So you never have to stop moving. You're basically built on single target crits like pop, pop, pop. And blue line is your Runekeeper's healing spec. So sucks solo, great in a group. For Captain here, red line is your damage or soloing build. Yellow line is your captain healer, where you're either like a secondary group healer, because captains have a lot of AoE and splash healing, and can be a decent primary healer. And yellow line for the captain is your tanking build. So I have on this character a kind of heal tank build that I've been playing around with that looks like this. which is not, so I combined this with a lot of healing gear and a lot of points into blue to basically be a tank with self heals to run in 3-man groups with this character and 2 DPS. So I've been playing around with that for a little while. But the new trait system has a lot more flexibility to it than the trait system had when you would have been playing before. Once you really start getting into having points to throw around. So hopefully some of that was at least vaguely helpful. As far as the yeah, Cass, that's the captain I was running the other night when we were doing the 2 DPS and me. As far as classes to kind of dip in and relearn the game, recommendations that I always give people, especially you got some character slots, so it never hurts to make some stuff and play around. I'm always going to recommend Champion. They're great soloing and questing characters because you have heavy armor and the survivability that comes with that, and pretty solid outgoing damage. Hunter is another great just kind of soloing and getting around in the world. They're great questing characters because as you level with the hunter, you gain travel skills, like guide to this location, guide to that location. So you are you're one of the characters that's easily able to get from point A to point B, to go various places, turn in quests, get objectives, whatever you need to do, because you'll end up with a lot of just general purpose travel skills. They also have a blue line specialization, which gives you not as much range on your attacks as a red line hunter, but you never have to stop moving. You can shoot on the run, so they're a great mobile class. A lot of fun. Captain is also a ton of fun and a great one to kind of get back into things. Again, you have the advantage of heavy armor. You have a decent amount of self-healing. You're never going to have the pure damage punch of something like a champ or a hunter. So your killing rate, if a quest is kill 20 orcs, you ain't going to do it as fast as a champ or a hunter. But after their rework last year, because Captain got a pretty big overhaul last year in a lot of their abilities and traits, a red line captain is a lot of fun now, and they're a very viable class. Runekeeper again, a lot of fun to play around with. I love my yellow Runekeeper. The caveat that I always give people who are starting and don't have the advantage of a bunch of high-level alts to funnel them gear or things like that, the tactical classes, your Runekeeper, your Minstrel, and your Lore Master, have a little bit longer of a time to kind of ramp up in terms of their of when they come into their own damage-wise or things like that. They are more gear dependent early on than some of the more martial classes, which have an easier time early game. It really doesn't matter nearly as much past level 20 or so, when you have a decent amount of gear and you've got some talent points spent and things like that. But just bear in mind, if you're starting fresh and relearning the game with a light armor class, it's going to be slower going potentially than starting off with something like a champ or a hunter. And of course, Warden is free if you like rote memorization and carpal tunnel. Okay, so let's see. What I need to do, and actually speaking of Runekeeper, that's actually where I was going to go real quick, because I need to send somebody over and spend some embers so that I don't overcap my embers and lose some. Cass, you would love the Warden, you weirdo. I think Louis is a bad influence on people. I kid, of course, but bad influence. Okay, do I have... I don't have Anik Curfew, but I do have Bree. So what I'm doing here is I just took a port to Bree, and I'm going to catch one of the mission stable masters and head to Anak Curfew, because that is, I find, the easiest place for me to remember where I can get an Ember Trader. There are several others scattered throughout the world. This is just the consistently easy one for me to get. So this stable master here will send me to the war room in Elderslade. And all the way in the back corner will be the Ember Trader. Because right now I have 9,300 embers and they cap at 10,000, which means I cannot turn in my champ's Umbar instance quest without going over the 10,000 limit and losing embers, and I don't want to lose embers.
We are not strangers.
Okay, so
Not truly.
I'm going to buy, let's see, am I still using a junk ring on this character? I am still using a junk ring on this character. But I can get a ring from the Ledger Keepers or Order of the Eagle that just take Umbari Tam to get. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to get another one of these light armor coffers here because I know that I need to build a healing set out on this character. So that puts me safely back down to 5,800 embers, which means I can turn that quest in and not worry about overcapping. Oh man, if you could trade those currencies around, things would be very, very different, you know. Okay, now I'm going to dip back out to my champ and turn that quest in to get the 1,000 embers from it and be back up to 6,800. Having enough embers that you need to actually spend them is a good problem to have, let's be honest. But yeah, as we found out the other night, I might be healing some of our group stuff for a while. Oh, yeah. So good news, bad news on that front. When I get in game, let me show you some tricks, because there's some stuff you can absolutely fix with that. There's some stuff that you're just going to have to accept. But a lot of your UI can be either moved around or resized element by element. So this is kind of the general size and arrangement that I use for various things. Mission wrappers reset on Thursdays. Most things reset on Wednesday night / Thursday morning. Or Thursday night. Yeah. Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So if you hit Control O for options, there is an absolute metric ass ton of options in Lotro's options menu, which is where the search field up here is absolutely your friend. So if I search for scale, oops, that's not it. It's scaling, I believe. What am I looking for here? Oh, that's right. There's sliders, so it ain't going to show me. Let's see. Make the options. So this menu right here, no, this is tied to resolution. And I don't think that it is one of the things that if I go and yeah. So there are all these various different, the general UI scale here, you can click plus and minus and you see how it is growing and shrinking most of the UI elements. And then there are additional UI elements underneath here specifically. So for example, I've got myself targeted here, and that is the opponent vitals slider right here. So if I make this bigger, and I know ads are running right now, I bet. Caster ads playing right now. They just got a little pop-up on the other screen that went away for a second, so I think it might have gone to ad break. Oh, okay. Good. All I saw was a blue flash over on that screen. So I had the feeling it might be adding over what I was saying. So a lot of these things, the individual elements, you can move around or you can resize with these sliders. Control / unlocks your UI. So that's control and then the slash above your enter key. And that basically, when you hit that, see how it puts a little basically drag bar on everything? So you can put any of these different elements. See, I've got my stuff, a lot of my characters, I have stuff all over the place. Control / unlocks them, control / relocks them. So between that and the various different bars to make individual items smaller or bigger, you have some control over where you put things and how big they are. Now, some elements, like the options menu, for example, or inventory, are locked in scale because of how they are coded on the back end. That is something that the Standing Stone Games dev team has been working on trying to find a fix for that doesn't involve completely rewriting a lot of their back-end spaghetti code. There's a lot of things that were done back in the original WB Games and Turbine days as far as coding and engine-wise that was never made to support high resolutions and large screens. And the current dev team is finding that is screwing over a lot of the things that they try and do. leading them to have things that are just not going to be fixable until they more or less get budget devs and the time to just go in there, tear a lot of spaghetti code apart, and decouple a lot of core UI and interface elements from how they're tied into the game so that they can put new elements in place. It is ultimately a huge lift given how everything was put together in the original days of Lotro's coding, because Lotro's engine is actually is actually a forked version of the Dungeons and Dragons online engine. So they had to hack a lot of this interface stuff in here from an engine that was not meant to do this in the first place. And a lot of what they did to make that work is now currently a strong limiting factor on what the devs now can do. And it just kind of is what it is. There's a lot of flexibility we have with the unlockable UI and moving things around. I never did bother to get the YouTube like the multi-stream plugin. I know there's one where you can set it up so that you stream to YouTube and Twitch, and I have not had the patience to set that up in OBS, frankly. One of these days I really should, but honestly, it's one of those things where I just don't want to fuck around with it. So one other thing that is a great command, and I am typing it out here so that I can paste it in chat. When you get your UI set up to be like, you know, hey, I've got things set up the way I want them. Obviously without the quotes, I just put the quotes in here to make it go through Twitch chat without replacing it. Or thinking I'm trying to use a slash command in Twitch chat. You can use the /UI layout, save, and then give your UI layout, like where your stuff is on the screen, how you have it all set up, you know, make a name for that. Like I have several UIs that I have, several layouts, like okay, well, obviously I don't remember the name of all my layouts because I've been using the same one for a long time. But you can save like how you have your stuff arranged using that command there. Just, you know, don't use the quotes and replace, you know, the asterisk name asterisk with whatever you want to name that layout. And then if you make a new character and want to use the same UI layout, you can do on that new character, you can do /UI layout load and then the name of the UI you saved, and it'll put things all where you want them. So like if I unlock this UI here and I just move all kinds of stuff all over the place. I'm going to put this hotbar over in the middle of the screen for some reason. I'm going to put my vitals off in a default location. Put my opponent vitals over here. So, absolute mess of a UI. I use my UI layout load, name of my default UI. It puts everything in the spots I have it saved. This is an absolute godsend as far as playing multiple characters but wanting a consistent UI. Honestly, I really would love it if they could just integrate this into the general options menu, because it would be really spiffy. I do borderless windowed here. But again, with you playing on a weird res TV, that might be it might be doing it weird. Yeah, I do full screen windowed as my default. But I also have a standard resolution, standard monitor resolution, because it's 2560 by 1440. Yeah, if you're at something weird, then yeah. I know if I go, and it is full screen, the resolutions, because you're at something, TVs have a lot of those weird like in between resolutions. It's probably looking at something that it just cannot do. Yeah, full screen windowed is my preference because it lets me not have to alt tab when I go to other to other screens, and it works pretty well. There are some people who do use actual full screen so that they can use VSync and things like that. One thing that your UI layout doesn't always change is some add-ons don't respect that. I just had to move my champion fervor points. Yeah, 3800 by 21. Yeah, that is a bizarre resolution, but TVs will be TVs, right? Okay, what the hell is I doing? Okay, yes, I need to turn in my Challenges of Umbar daily and get all the goodies. Okay, I think all these runes have rotted, so I can put them in one stack. Well, almost all of them. Okay, let's see. Do I have any in my carry-all to transfer over? Yes, I do. So periodically, and not nearly often enough, I should do this more often. What I want to do is take all of the runes that I've been building up, because again, you get these as loot. And my champion does not need any runes because all of my LIs are fully leveled. So I need to move these into shared storage so that my other characters can use them. All right, Nightcast, take it easy. I'm gonna tell Snior. Cass said she drools. See you later, man. Yeah, gonna get you in trouble with Snior. Yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, man, loot can absolutely pile up and inventory space can be a thing. Okay, but it is 9 o'clock. I need to eat dinner and call it a night here because today was a Monday through and through. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see who is on and rolling. Oh, awesome. Poteen is on. I don't know how long he's been live for, but looks like he's on his brawler. So we're going to go yell at Poteen because he is another great Lotro streamer who is a ton of fun to watch and hangs out in here a lot too. So everybody go say hi to Poteen and give him terrible redeems.